Hi, my name is Jen Bonacci. Welcome back to the second installment of this month's monthly Healthcare Minutes. We are excited to welcome Carter Groome, CEO of First Health Advisory, who is talking with Skip about the post-Mythos landscape. Skip?
Carter, welcome back. We've been talking about AI, the threat landscape, acceleration of the crazy world we live in. I want to ask you specifically your thoughts on Mythos.
I, you know, we're what, 1 month into what I'm calling the post-Mythos threat landscape. I didn't necessarily coin that. It's my working title. Maybe it'll stick, right? But the way I think about it is it's making our past risk model outdated, right? The old metrics that we use don't necessarily reflect the actual exposure with these new attack, timelines and complexity. And so we need to start thinking about a mental model for reducing AI risk and addressing the blind spots that we see in this post-Mythos landscape, right? And us as security practitioners need to be cognizant that the organizations we're serving need to act with speed. So we have to accept, we have to be the party of yes, you can do it, but it's just, hey, can you do it with these controls around it? We're trying to make these things happen to reduce the blast radius. And this is where one of the, I think, most important first principles, brings us to, is least privileged. You've
Right.
got to put least privilege around these agents in the same way you would do fundamentally around humans, around employees of your organization. I mean, that's kind of where it all starts. We could go on. I mean, secure by design, that's going to be super important in the future. Segmentation, to just contain lateral movement. All of those things are super important, and they're fundamental first principles of cybersecurity.
I couldn't agree more. Had a conversation yesterday, colleague Corey Ellenberg, and we were talking about two distinct elements that are in play now. Segmentation is the primary objective. It has to be, because it's the only thing that I can see as a technical control that can prevent the activities of an attack. And the other thing that we've talked about is governance. I get asked a lot about that. What's your take on governance around internal AI usage in these healthcare organizations?
Yeah, and I spend quite a bit of time in boardrooms, and we talk about governance as if it's like the balm that fixes everything, and that's not really it, right? I mean, you've got to have visibility or observability to then feed governance, and then governance needs to set controls, and then those controls need to be enforced by that governance. And if you're having a meeting once a month, right, there's actually, that's where the problem begins, is so much is happening in between. If you don't use AI, in your organization to enforce those controls in that governance, then you're already falling behind because of that velocity that we've talked about.
So governance is the written guardrails or instruction book for the things that become the fundamental practice. So we're right back to the fundamentals again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, so I think governance, it can reduce risk, but not obviously not done well, it's going to increase risk in the organization. And so we rightly talk about it, for sure. It's just, how do you then leverage these foundational AI models to enforce that governance at machine speed?
I think that's the question that's unanswered yet. Carter, always appreciate your time and thoughts. Thank you for joining us. Jen, back to you.
Thank you so much, Carter and Skip. I do have a question for you, though. So it does sound like, Skip, that, one of the things that we talk about at Claroty all the time is it's not just the tech you have, it's the people and processes as well. And AI is clearly tech, but even leveraging AI, you have to have people and processes around that to make it work for you and to also beat it at the game that hackers are using it for.
Yeah, human in the loop is critical in any conversation around the leverage of AI. And the human has to tell the agent or the AI LLM what we want it to do, but we also have to be the mechanism to control it, to set its boundaries. And back to Carter's point about identity. it becomes critical for that human in the loop, sign off, validation, workflow designation, etc. Carter, your
Oh,
thoughts?
yeah. I mean, gosh, like a real challenge here, and one of the biggest questions that I think teams are going to have to answer in our world is the patching problem, right? They're going to have to get patching done at machine speed. And so when I advise leadership teams and boards on this particular topic, not just patching, but AI overall and what the threat landscape is giving us, I say, you need to ask for more budget. You need to hire more people. You need to do more automation because that shortened window between when a vulnerability is disclosed and when it can be exploited, if you don't do those things, if you don't prepare for it, security teams are going to be in for a really, really challenging time in the post-Mythos threat landscape.
Great question, Jen. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. It was great hearing about the AI landscape and the post-Mythos environment. Thanks once again, Carter, for joining us. And thank you, Skip, for always being a regular.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.